Okay. Okay, so good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Today, we're going to lead you through an activity called A Handful of Things. And you could feel free to watch this activity with your little ones or watch it ahead of time and then go ahead and do the craft afterwards. My name is Allison Reinking, and I'm here with Janessa Gray and Clarissa Pena. We're the Early Childhood Specialist team at Central Jersey Family Health Consortium. And just want to lay out what we're going to be doing with you today. We're going to just tell you a little bit about who we are. We're going to talk about what you'd like to get out of our time here together. We're going to then lead you through a fun craft. It's called A Handful of Things. And it's really an opportunity. You're going to get the opportunity to do a craft together. But we really hope that you use this time as a positive experience for you and your little ones. It's an opportunity to bond. It's an opportunity to observe their development and just, see how they're doing. And finally, we're going to give you the opportunity to complete a developmental screening tool called the Ages and Stages if you have not done so already, or if it's time to complete another one. We'll talk a little bit about what that is, how to complete it, and then we could do it together. So Central Jersey Family Health Consortium has a program called Central Intake Family Connections, and it's only one of the many programs that we offer at our agency. And the goal of this program is to link women and families over the phone to resources, supportive resources in their community based on their unique needs. This Central Intake program is available in all 21 counties throughout New Jersey. And we have the unique opportunity to connect parents to home visiting programs where you get a parent coach who helps lead you through the journey of being a parent, helps with all of those different transitions, and also helps to support the parent-child relationship and the development of children. We could also connect families to community health workers who provide intensive case management. And we have a lot of other amazing programs like baby pantries. We just are doing a food drive where we've been able to share Thanksgiving baskets to families in need. We have a perinatal mood disorder program. We could connect to early intervention libraries and a whole plethora of services. And like I said, you're here with our early childhood specialist team, and we're really here to help you support your child's development. We offer a free screening tool called the Ages and Stages Questionnaire. And this is an opportunity to go online and complete a tool about your child's development. And the great thing is it will tell you your child's strengths and areas where they could need a little bit extra support. Once you complete this tool, you have the opportunity to speak with an early childhood specialist one-on-one, and we really carve out the time to answer any questions that you may have and connect you to any resources that could be supportive. We'll also provide you with developmental activities, so this will further strengthen your child's development and ultimately help them to reach their best self. And I would love to hear if you want to put it in the chat, and maybe Janessa or Clarissa, if you could just read the chat, because I can't see that screen. But what do you hope to get out of today's activity?
We have someone who wrote, learn about child development.
Wonderful. Okay, so we will definitely touch on that. And And I just like to emphasize that we appreciate you watching this video and taking the time to do this activity, because it's just an opportunity to bond with your child, to give them that undivided attention that so often as parents and caregivers, it's hard to do because of our busy schedules. And it's an opportunity to do something that's just, purely fun. And finally, learn about child development.
So now we're going to go into our craft activity. And before we do that, I just want to make note that the activity, like Allison had mentioned, is intended for your bonding with your child and maybe doing something fun with them, but also observing some of those skills that they are developing or that they have, and just make note of it. I am going to mention some things that you may notice your child doing. So if your child is at the time that you're trying to do the activity, may not be interested at the time, or they are focused on something else, that's okay. Take their lead, give them time and space to explore, but you can guide them and show them what it is that you're doing while doing this craft. So first, if you would like to gather all of your materials, I put a list here of some things that you may need. Two things that is really mandatory for the activity is a sheet of paper. It could be of any color, and some type of writing utensil, writing tool like a pen or pencil, marker. And then there's some optional things that you can use like scissors, or if you want crayons, markers, coloring pencils, any additional decorative things that you have in your home. It could be little puff balls, or if you have sparkles and glitter, whatever you feel like you have and want to use, you can for this. It's however creative you want to be. And glue stick if you need it, or tape, something to tape those things on. And before we get into the steps of the handful of things craft, I just want to go over some safety things. So just make sure for those items that are small and you have small children, make sure that you either keep them away or you're watching them very closely. We really want to make sure to prevent any accidents like choking. We also want to highlight that you should help and assist your child with sharp objects like scissors, and make sure your child is using things the way they're intended to be used. For example, if you have like a glue stick, make sure your child doesn't put it in their mouth because it's not edible. So you want to just make sure that the things are being used appropriately. We're also going to touch base on some developmental skills that you may notice your child doing. And these are the areas that I may highlight throughout the activity. So you may see some communication skills, some personal social skills, fine motor skills, a few gross motor, and problem solving skills. So this is just a few examples of completed turkey hands, a handful of things we call it. So you could get an idea of how you can make yours. You could be as creative as you want, but I'm going to now walk you step by step on how to do it. So first you would like to get a sheet of paper. So I'm just going to demonstrate. I do have my sheet of paper here. And what you're going to do is you're going to put it onto a flat surface like the table. You're going to take one of your hands, not your dominant hand, so you can use the other one to trace, and just to let you know that you can do one for you and one for your little one. So you can use your hand for one, and then you can then use, after you do yours, you can then trace your little one's hand. So you take your hand, you open the palm, and then once you do that, you're going to put it against the paper, and you're going to take your pen. I'm sorry if it's hard to see what I'm doing because of the screen. So you're going to take your pen, you're going to have your sheet of paper flat on the table, and you're going to have your hands wide open on the paper. So you can trace your hand as you see on the picture on the screen. So I'm just going to take my time to do that. You could do it while I'm doing mine, or whatever you feel comfortable with.
Now I'm going to just jump in while Janessa is showing the hand. So if you have a 5-year-old or even a 4-year-old, maybe they're tracing their own hand. Now, if you have a littler one, like a 6-month-old, right, 18-month-old, you could be the one tracing. So depending on where they're at developmentally, you could adjust this activity.
Thank you. Yes, that's correct. I'm just going to show you a picture. I'm not sure if you can see it. Is that clear, Allison? I'm not sure. I think it's blurry. Is it blurry?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, pull it out a little bit.
Out?
Oh no, maybe in.
In?
There we go. That's good.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, so that's our hand, right? So the thumb, as you see on the screen of those examples, you're going to make the face of the turkey. So I'm going to go ahead and do mine. So my thumb here, I'm going to draw a face. So if you want to take the time to do that, I will do mine.
And I just want to remind you, as a parent or a caregiver, right, the eyeball doesn't have to be a perfect circle, right? The face doesn't have to look a certain way. Really give your child the freedom to just make a face, right? It could look however they want it to look. And they're going to take pride in that drawing and having the freedom to do that.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. You can also try to encourage them to do other features of the turkey if they can, or you can, if they're younger, can do it for them. You can put the beak. You could put it, like I see a few of the pictures have like the little feathers on the top of the head. So be as festive and creative as you like, or you could be as simple as you like as well. It's all great.
You could use it as an opportunity maybe to reinforce shapes, right? Can you draw a circle for the eye, a triangle for the nose, a triangle for the little, but it could be a triangle for that, what is it?
The beak, or no, the
gullet, what is that called?
The word for that. Hold on one second. Let me see. It's a giddle, I think it's called, but it's like the hangy part of the turkey neck,
part,
right?
Yes. And if you're doing this, with a 6-month-old, even if you're just massaging their hand or tickling their hand, giving them that sensory input, that's going to be a beautiful experience, right? So think about the process, not just the outcome when you're doing this activity, right? You could tickle every time you do every time you trace another finger, maybe you tickle their hand a little bit to keep their interest.
Okay, so I'm going to show you where I'm at with mine so far. Again, I'm trying to focus here, so I'm not sure. I think that's clear, right?
Beautiful. Yep.
Okay. So next, what we're going to do, you again be as creative as you can. So you can color it right now. You can add some sparkles, but what we want to make sure that we do for each of the fingers, those are considered their feathers. So what I want to do, or I want to have you do, is write a word that you're thankful for. Maybe is for your child, or for your home, or for food, and do the same for your child. What do you think your child is thankful for? Or if they are speaking, ask them, what is your favorite thing to do? What is your favorite thing that you want to take with you all of the time, or you want to do all of the time, so they can show what thankfulness is, and maybe have that conversation with them as you're drawing and writing this out. So I'm going to put my things that I'm thankful for.
So while Janessa is doing that, just some things to look at. So for a 2-month-old, let's say that you're doing this activity with them, you're tracing their hand and you're communicating to them what you're thankful for. Just the act of telling them is a beautiful form of affection, right? And that's a way to strengthen your relationship with them, as well as their development. At 2 months old, what you could look for is just the baby following the sound of your voice and cooing as you're talking to them. At 4 months old, you notice, are they reaching for some of the supplies that you have? Maybe they're reaching for the pencil or the crayons. Maybe they're smiling at you. Maybe they're smiling on the screen if you have them faced up to the screen. 6 months old, they're responding to your affection, to your attention. But they're responding to sounds by making sounds. So as you're talking to them, you might notice that they're making some sounds back to you. They're showing curiosity at 6 months old. They're showing joy and displeasure. So maybe they're really fussing, right, while you're doing this activity, and know that that's perfect, because that's a sign that they're acting developmentally appropriate. We can't expect them to be engaged in this activity for very long. And 9-month-old, they understand no, right? So maybe if they're doing something like putting the glue stick in their mouth and you say no, know that they're understanding what that means. They're going to copy sounds and gestures at 9-month-olds. They might point to something, right, that they want to hold, right? Maybe they're pointing to a crayon, or if you're brave enough to have glitter out, maybe they're pointing to the glitter. They look for things that you hide. Maybe you're putting the paper up to your face and putting it down and playing peekaboo with them, right? They're going to look there. Peekaboo is a great game at 9 months old. And we'll jump to 18 months old. They like to hand things to you at that age. So as you're doing this activity, maybe you could say, can you hand me the crayon? Can you hand me the glue stick? They'll show interest again by pointing. They might shake their head, yes or no. So you could ask them, do you like, for example, maybe you know that they love cookies, and you're going to put cookies as something that you think they're thankful for. Do you like cookies? They'll shake their head, yes or no. No, let's see. And they'll know ordinary objects, right? So you could say, can you show me where the crayon is? Can you show me where the pencil is? And they're able to follow one-step directions at this point in time.
So I would like to highlight for the older children some of the things that you may notice. So with the communication skills, you may notice some receptive things. So them understanding what you're saying to them, right? So maybe they're responding to a command or a direction. So if you say, can I have, or can you pass me that pencil, maybe they will be able to pass it over to you because they're following that direction. Or they may even point to those named objects. So if you ask them, where is the pencil? Where is the glue stick? If they're familiar with it, then maybe they could point those things out to you. So if it's something that they use pretty often. And making eye contact is a major one. So while you're engaging with them and talking throughout this activity, just them engaging and looking at you or waiting for your response. That is a language skill. And them expressing their language as well. So maybe if your child is talking, if they're 2 and over, maybe them either babbling or saying actual words or repeating after you, or maybe putting 2 to 3 words together. It all depends on where they're at in their age, but you will see some of these things appearing during this activity. And drawing circles, drawing lines, if you give them the opportunity to, like while you're making the turkey hand, let them do their own thing and scribble and write on it themselves, even if they can't form letters, just allowing them to hold the writing tool and letting them just freehand and do what they like to do with it. And maybe if they're old enough, maybe around 3 or 4, cutting with scissors, if you want to cut it out, that is also a skill. That's just a few things. There are more, but those are just a few things that you might notice. So I did want to show you my I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, we just have a question.
Okay.
Lakshmi raised her hand.
Yeah, I have a question. I'm sorry. Like my son is 19 months old now. So like when he used to say like mom and dad, and for anything else he wants, he will just point. So what will be the right age for him to start speaking? Like, as I have a doubt here. Like we used to speak in English and also as well as in our mother tongue in our home. So for my elder one to practice the language English, so we are doing English more at home. So will he get confused with the two languages, and will it make it delay for him? I have this confusion. I just wanted to check here. Yeah.
Alex, did you want to answer that, or do you want me to take it? Okay, so first, I do want to note that every child develops at their own rate, right? So what you want to do is, when it comes to the two languages, is we wouldn't say not to expose him to two languages. That will be something to speak to the pediatrician about, a professional. However, we do want to make note that looking at his development and if he is regressing with language skills, if you notice he said mama and dada before and he is no longer using it, just make note of it. We do have what we're going to talk about later is the ages and stages questionnaire, where we'll give you more idea of how he is doing based on the questions that it asks you for his age. But when it comes to dual languages, I wouldn't think that will have an impact on his skill, but that will be something you should speak with his doctor about. Allison, I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Okay, but no, I just meant like he could say mom and dad still.
Okay.
Yeah, only these two he used to keep telling. Like any new add-on word, like he will say like come in our language. He used to say come. That only these three things he's saying. Rest of the things he will babble and he will just point. So he's not at the start. I mean, trying to put the word. Like something close to that will babies will try, right? So that is not there still. So I just thought to check whether will it, like, because using two language, will he get confused? So, and thank you, really. I'll check with my pediatrician in our next visit, really.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and I'll share. So a child's brain grows the most between 0 to 5 years of age, and introducing two languages at this age is amazing, right? Because it's a prime opportunity for learning. Sometimes we see that when you introduce two languages, it might initially delay communication, because it's taking some time for their brain to sort out both languages. But ultimately, there is the possibility that they catch up and now they have the gift of two languages. So I think it's a gift, right, that you're giving to your child. Always talk to the pediatrician if you have concerns. But like Janessa mentioned, the ages and stages questionnaire will give you an opportunity to see just how your child is developing in comparison to other children their age, and then we'll give you some activities to further support and strengthen. So is your child going to school?
No, he is 19 months old.
Oh, 19 months old. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's the exposure. It's the exposure that's going to help your child learn the different languages and the consistency of it, and then it kind of all sorts itself out.
Okay. Yeah, I have two kids. My second one I was asking for, and the first one, she is doing her kindergarten. Yeah.
Yeah, and that would be, not that we want to compare one child to the other, but that could give you kind of a sense of how it all sorts itself out. Kindergarten is like, they learn so much that that first year in school, in public school, and it's the two languages is a gift. It really is.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, really. Yeah. Thank you very much.
So I did want to share what my result is for my turkey hand, but again, everyone is going to look different. The focusing is very hard for me on this. Can you see that?
We could see it.
Okay, so I wrote what I am thankful for in each of the feathers, and then on the palm, which is the body of the turkey, I put a hand full of thanks. And maybe later on, when my children come home from school, I'll let them color it and I'll share it with them and we'll talk about what they're thankful for. But you can, again, do this with your child while they're there with you. They can participate with you, and let them lead the way. So you can make it with them right there and then, or you can take breaks, but it's all about the interaction that you're having with them.
We'd love to hear from you, what you're thankful for, and maybe even what you think your children are thankful for. If you want to put it in the chat or come off mute. And that's okay if you don't want to share. That's totally okay. But it really is a nice opportunity to have this type of conversation.
We did have Lakshana, she did share that she will be planning to do this with her baby using fingerprints. I think that's an awesome idea. And she is thankful for family.
Beautiful. I did this with my son yesterday. He said family, his Legos, that was a big one. His snacks.
Awesome.
Does anyone have any questions before we move on? So we will be posting this on our Facebook page. And if you wind up doing the activity, we would love for you to take a picture and share your final results on our page, just so everybody could see. It's just nice. Nice to see the different examples. It's nice to focus on what we're thankful for. It totally shifts our mood and our attention, our energy. Telling your child what you're thankful for and including them in part of that is wonderful for them to hear that as well. Okay, so we're going to
I'll do that. Yeah, once even my elder one returns home, I will definitely do this activity. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, so we're going to take some time to talk about the Ages and Stages Questionnaire. And the Ages and Stages Questionnaire is an online developmental screening tool that gives you the sense of how your child is developing. It's a tool you could use to monitor their development, and it looks at 5 basic domains. It looks at communication, problem solving, gross motor, so how they're using those big muscle groups of their body. It looks at fine motor, how they're using the small muscle groups like their hands. It looks at social emotional, and what did I say? Gross motor and communication. And communication in terms of how they're receiving information and how they're delivering information. And it doesn't take long to complete. It takes about 10 to 20 minutes. And it's a parent-led questionnaire. So this questionnaire, your doctor, your pediatrician might go into the office and they might complete something similar. But the unique opportunity for a parent to complete it is truly valuable because you see what is possible for children, for your children. And you are with your children all the time. So you get to see them at their best, you get to see them at their worst, and you have a very unique lens. And it's found to be extremely effective for parents to complete this tool. How you would do it, it asks you questions and you would answer yes, sometimes, or not yet. depending on whether or not they're doing the skill that's being asked of them. I also want to say, when you complete the activity, when you complete the questionnaire, some of the skills you'll already know, right? You'll know maybe if you're, you'll know if your child maybe could jump, right? But you might not know some of the other things they're asking. So we ask that you do it with your child just to see. And do it at a time when they're well rested, where they're not fussy, when they're not hungry, right? Because then it will give you a more accurate assessment of how they're doing. We cover 4 different counties, but if you happen to watch this video and you're not in Hunterdon, Mercer, Middlesex, or Somerset, just let us know. You could leave a comment on our Facebook page and we'll make sure to get this link, because the proper link, because this questionnaire is available in all 21 counties throughout New Jersey. And we have the opportunity to offer it in both English and Spanish. And we have a Spanish-speaking early childhood specialist, Clarissa Pena, who's truly wonderful, and she'll go over the results with you if you complete the Spanish one. Janessa, do you want to add to any of that? Okay.
No.
We wanted to leave you our contact information, so feel free to get in touch with us. You could either send us a message on our Facebook page through the Early Childhood Corner, or you could email us or call us. Right? So there's a couple of different ways that you could get to us, and we will make sure to get back to you as soon as possible. So we really, truly appreciate your time here today. We hope you enjoyed the activity. We would so love to see the final result, and we would love to hear about your experience, how it went. We're going to remind you that don't expect the turkeys to look a certain way, right? Remember, this is more about establishing a relationship, giving that positive experience with having the positive experience with you and your child. It's a time for bonding. It's a time to have fun. Use it to observe their interests, right? Maybe your child is going to just want to tear up the paper on the table. Okay, so then you notice, okay, you're tearing up the paper, so you like to do that. That's okay. That's okay. Notice, show affection, share what you're grateful for, and that will be a successful event. So we wish you all the very best. Thank you again, and have a wonderful holiday if you celebrate.
Yeah, thank you for the program, and thank you. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Yeah.
Yes, to you as well.
Thank you.
Lashana, are you still there?